now we're going into the head center 5, 6, and 7. And what we think matters. And our intention and positive intention totally matters and has an impact. And there's a reason why I'm wearing the color blue, and also why there's all these incredible books behind me. This Enneagram Point 5 represents our thirst for knowledge, our desire to know, our desire to have wisdom, our insatiable curiosity. And as I said in the Enneagram Point 4 video, when I did a study of over 1,000 leaders, less than 6% fell into Enneagram points 4 and 5. So I do believe that points 4 and 5 are a portal for our leadership. For the point 4, it's to tap into that creative deep stream. And for the 5, it's to take the time and space to apply our wisdom, to apply knowledge, and not just come from automaticity, not just come from what is reactive, but rather to think things through. Our capacity as leaders to really think things through with clarity. When we think of the Enneagram Point 5 and the bad ripple trap, the first thing that comes to mind is what I call the Vanishing Act. Is they can vanish literally before our eyes, right in front of us, in terms of they get lost in the clouds of their thoughts. They can think things through and they keep thinking, and then sometimes they can get really, really, really scared and then disappear. And often they'll literally sever, I describe it as sever their bodies in meetings, so they aren't really in the meeting, they're more in the repertoire of their thoughts. They also can do this with relationships. They'll cut people off at the drop of a hat, and in somewhat surprising ways. And often they've got these leaders have a history of dropping people like this. That's why I call it the Vanishing Act. Yet there's something that's being invited into in terms of the awakened ripple model, that the Enneagram Point 5s, when they can just take a breath, and not be scared, to relax into the moment, to have their own particular spice in terms of their own body and tapping into their own wisdom around what needs to actually be done versus getting lost in the atmospheres of our thoughts, because often people feel like the Enneagram Point 5 vanishes on us. The other thing, another bad ripple trap for Enneagram Point 5 is that often, not always, but often, if we have a lot of this energy, we're super, super smart, and we will investigate things and we will go into things. And for me, it's the piece of me why I have books shoved under my bed. I have books everywhere. I have this insatiable curiosity and desire to know things. However, we can get lost in the abstraction of knowing, and it's not really translated to how we are as leaders. So it's the talking heads. It's the people who are just talking about things but don't do anything about it, or it's so complex, no one knows what you're actually talking about. And people get lost. It's like confusion, circles of confusion. So the invitation is to have this razor-like ability to discern and to communicate the complexity of your thoughts in a simple manner. And I think that's what Einstein was so good at. And I think he even had a quote, something like, if you can't communicate your ideas simply enough, then you haven't quite gotten to the root of it, or something like that. And that's the invitation with the Awakened Ripple model, is so that people can understand the layers of your complexity and bring it down to earth so that we can actually do something about it. The third ripple trap is often the 5 is this energy to conserve, that the world is completely overwhelming them, that the world is just too much for their nervous system. And they avoid things and they go into the void, literally into the void, and energetically become quite obtuse. And the invitation with this Enneagram Point 5 is at the awakened place is to really, you do have enough energy. Yes, take breaks in your day. People can learn from you in terms of your energy conservation. Have no doubt about that. But to show up intentionally and to show up deliberately in your world, because your ideas really matter and need to be in the world to help humanity at this very important time. To know that when we show up intentionally with this researcher mentality, it can serve the world and help the world be a better place. So my invitation, if you have a lot of 5, is to step in, light your candle, light your fire, and allow your wisdom to shine through. The world needs your brilliance.